Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the 22nd Annual Technology Conference. My name is Rebecca Smekla. I'm here from the Department of Educational Technology to introduce you to our speakers for this session, Leigh Arnold and Lisa Seymour. Today, we're going to be talking about making with the 4Cs and our tools for communication. But first, let's talk about a little bit of housekeeping. You can use the chat box to communicate, and we would love to hear your thoughts. Engage with us today. If you haven't liked our channel, please like and subscribe. We may have some moderators in the chat. If you see them, they'll have a little blue wrench by their name. We'd love for you to share on social media with us today at EdTechPBC. Use the hashtag PBC Tech Conference. Today, we're bringing you our virtual makerspace. So in the past, if you've been to our conference before, we always had hands-on fun activities inside our vendor hall with our makerspace from our STEM team and our media specialists across the district, showcasing all the cool things they do with robotics and a lot of hands-on. But with our conference being virtual this year, we had to pivot. And what we decided to do was to do 4 sessions based on the 4 C's, so you can get some ideas how to work with your students with creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. And those things we're going to be bringing to you throughout the day. Our first session today is going to focus on communication. So I'm going to bring Leigh and Lisa up. Leigh is coming to us from our STEM team here in the district, and Lisa is here from Library Media Services. So take it away, Leigh and Lisa. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. Hey, everyone. We are going for tools for communication. So our goal this morning is how I can learn new ways to utilize technology to have students engage in authentic communication. So in the chat, do us a favor. What are some tools you use for student communication? While you're doing that, again, telling us some tools you use for student communication, let's introduce ourselves. So today we have myself. I'm Leigh Arnold, a STEM instructional specialist here in the district. And we also have...
And I'm Lisa Seymour, and I am the instructional specialist for Library Media Services.
We appreciate you guys coming out this morning. We're so excited, and we hope that you are engaged and learn a few new tricks for your instruction. So the first one we're going to look at is Flipgrid. Now, some of you are probably really familiar with it. Some are you new to the game. Well, Flipgrid is a video tool that allows students to post their responses in the video format. So this is where you can communicate their thoughts, their feelings, and evidence with you, and not only you, but also your peers. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I see some of your comments, which is awesome for communication, Google Classroom, Dashboard, you've got Canvas, Google Chat. Awesome. Thank you for participating. We'd like you to even participate more. So if you don't mind going to flipgrid.com and using this code, it is also going to be on the bottom of your screen going through, or if you're pretty good with your cell phone, you could take the QR code right from the screen and go into Flipgrid. So you're going to use this code EdTech. It is case sensitive, sorry. Capital E, capital D, Tech 21 is your guest password, and you're going to introduce yourself. So this is you getting exposure to Flipgrid. So I'm going to show you a little bit what it should look like. So I think that's name is Keenan, Keenan and Kel, that's my people. Who are you people? So this is the frame and what you should see. You're going to include yourself. As you can see, this is the educator side of it. So I can see who has responded, the date, any comments that you'd like. If you were going into the student view, you would hit the member view. So this is what you should see. You should see a green plus button or add response. So you can click on any of those. You can see here, I introduce myself.
Thank you guys for joining us here today to talk about communication. A little bit about myself. My name is Leigh Arnold. I am a STEM specialist. I have 12 years in education, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and I love to travel.
Love that from my little cubicle. This is a great way that students could, again, respond to your instructions, summarize. They can also comment on it. Again, it's a really unique platform if you have never used it. Some other ways to possibly use it, if you still need the code, it's there on your screen or in the chat. Always wanted to give you guys some ideas on how to use it, because sometimes we understand what the platform is, but we don't see the application side of it. So if you're in elementary, you could easily use it for ELA, a summary of your story with the story elements. Nonfiction, comparing two stories. SEL, very big component. You know, sometimes we want to know what they did over the weekend, but we just got no time to do that. Why not have them go respond on Flipgrid for a second? What did they do this past weekend that they want to share with you? Science, procedures, they completed an experiment. The middle and high school, great for CERs, their claim, evidence, reasoning on why they thought this happened. In their math, you've got explaining how they solved a complex problem. ELA, stating the main idea of a text and its supporting details, and also identifying author's purpose of multiple texts. Understanding that Flipgrid is something that's unique, and you're allowed to even just take that computer home and just take a look at those responses. It's no papers. It's just honestly listening to your students. So you're getting that personal vibe from them as well. So hopefully everyone has responded. Here is a little glimpse of what it would look like from the student view. So you would see, these are my other teachers that worked with me in a grant. You can see how many comments they have gotten. You can actually, as the educator, you can kind of filter those comments. You can not allow for them. You could just add for likes. It's a great tool for also providing feedbacks from your students to their peers. Then you are going to see the teacher view. You'll get their names, comments, and you can actually change the settings, whether it's hidden. Maybe you would like to view these before you post it online. Totally acceptable. And again, these are inside your own group. And again, it's only shared by yourself. You can actually categorize them. You can like them and put them all on a showcase platform. So Flipgrid is a really great tool to promote that communication. Another tool for communication is Adobe Spark. And a lot of us in our district, hopefully we are familiar with it. Adobe Spark is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud, and it's where you can actually create presentation, brands, videos, collages, social media posts, and Spark allows students to be creative while communicating their findings. If you are in Palm Beach County, all students and staff have a tile in their portal for Adobe Spark. As you can see here, that's what that tile looks like. So they all have access to it. The Adobe Spark, here's an example, virtual technology conference. This is a glide show. So I have these vivid images that you can just have students enter in text. You can see students will love new ways to present their research. They have free images, all engaging platforms. And again, it's just seamless. What ways could you use Adobe Spark to promote communication in your classroom? So go ahead and put in the chat, what are some ways that you think you can use this by just getting a glimpse at it? And as you can see, the platform is very simplistic. You see a plus button, you add something. You can add text, a button, a video, photo grid. You can have a glide show, what I just showed you. You could split layout. Within this platform, you can see, this is my Adobe Spark. You can see you can create a plethora of different things. A really cool one is collage. They could be reading a story and they create a graphic for their understanding of that story with different collages. Web page, presentation. If you really want to do Instagram posts, get that social media in. You can even create your own brand, and that shows up on every presentation that you present. So really unique concept here. There we go. Let's go back here. So another way is to put this into your classroom. So presentations for elementary, animal characteristics, habitats, SEL, collage of their feelings. How are they feeling this week? Or even just today. Oh, I love Caroline Rhodes. I use it with my 5th grade for biopoetry videos. Oh, awesome. I love the application. ELA, the poster for describing main character and their feelings and actions. Application of science content. Middle Avid, fantastic way to bring in their dream college or careers. Summary of a favorite speech for history. Video of historical evidence. Avid is showcase of colleges and programs, maybe a presentation for their research paper. Make it a little bit more engaging. Sometimes we learn new things like Google Slides, but then we stick to it, change it up, add in Adobe Spark and get a little different vibe going on for your students. If you can see, even when they are doing something like this, I can actually add my own voice to it. So this is something that I did for a training that I was in, and you can see.
Sletsy came up with the levels of engagement in the classroom, and today you will learn about one of them. The level we are going to focus on is retreatism.
Very simple to add your voice, very simple to add those images and take what they learned and apply it into, again, a digital outlook. So again, you see here, I showed you the video that I created. You can do a collage. This one Mary had a little lamb, the real debate, and we understood it and we took that and we created a collage that would represent our understanding of that story. And even Leigh Arnold in the corner there, that's my brand. And every time I go to present, Adobe Spark registers those brand colors and actually creates my presentation to mimic my brand name. So it's a really unique component. I love people are saying they're going to use it for SEO. I think that's a great tool. So we are going to move on to Destiny Collections, and we are going to bring up Miss Lisa. Oh, Lisa, muted.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Thanks, Lisa.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our communication session. I'm going to introduce you to something that is a more non-traditional kind of communications. In Palm Beach County, every student and teacher has Destiny in their portal. Their tile is in the lower left-hand corner, so you can see just what it looks like. You're probably used to using Destiny just to search your library collection. There is so much more to Destiny than just that. You can see that you can use Destiny to make all kinds of collections for your students, information you want to communicate to them, research your students may want to communicate to you. All right, so some uses for Destiny collections. In elementary, it would be a great place for them to gather their research for a project on animals, a place to gather their research for a project on a country or a state, a place to collect and share books they want to read, to gather and share research on colleges and careers, and collaborate. It's a great resource for you to collaborate with your grade level. In middle and high school, it's a wonderful place, again, for that research on college, careers, scholarships. Gather the research for a paper and share with your teacher. Sharing articles with your students easily through Google Classroom. You can share these Destiny collections right to your Google Classroom. You can collaborate and communicate about resources with your department via Destiny collections. These are just some examples of collections that are out there. You can search collections across the globe, those that people have made public, search collections that are across our district, and search collections at your school. You can see there's some different examples. You've got your Dot Day collection, a collection for Hispanic Heritage Month, an IB collection, Theory of Knowledge, and a 4th grade Stars, Planets, and Moon collection. I've created a collection of helpful resources to get you started with this, and I will take you out live to those now. So this is my helpful collection. You can see it's a collection of different web pages, and you can access those resources just by clicking on them. Okay, now, to create a collection, you're going to want to start at to get to Destiny, you're going to have to be in your Destiny home. So let me get back to home. This is what it will look like when you come up to your Destiny, your school's Destiny. You're going to go to your catalog, and you're going to click on Destiny Discover. It will take you right into your school's visual book collection. Once that comes up, I'm going to want to click on where it says collections. So I'm going to click on collections. And as that comes up, you can see we have our featured collections here. I'm using Seminole Trails Elementary School. There's a 4th grade collection, a diversity collection, and a disability history and awareness collection. You can then see that you've got collections from across the school district of Palm Beach County. You can access any one of these collections and use it in your classroom. And then you have your public collections. These are collections that have been created across the country. To create your own collection, you're going to need to go to the private chat, and you simply click on the plus button. give it a title. And then you can decide how you want to share it, either privately, at your school, public, or district. Students will only be able to make private collections. They can share them with you via a link. I'm going to go ahead and click Create that collection. Now, when I go ahead and go to Edit, I can add in what grade I want it to be for. Let's say I want it to be for 4th grade, and I want it to be in social studies. I'm going to click Save. You can see I've got my subjects, my grade. Now I need to add my resources. So I click on the plus. I can add a URL, a playlist, and upload a document from my Google Drive, notes. I can add other collections, and I can import things. I can also, if I'm making a collection for my students, I can mark resources for instructor use only. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and add a URL. I'm going to come over here. This is social studies, and I have my panoramic map view of West Palm Beach, North Palm Beach, and Lake Worth from the Library of Congress. I'm going to copy that URL, and I'm going to go ahead, come back to my collection, add that URL, and now that's a part of my collection. They are that simple. They are fantastic. Easy to share. You click on this. I have no sharing allowed right now. Anyone with the link can view, or if I want collaboration, anyone with the link can edit. But if I share anyone with the link can view, I can then share it directly to my Google Classroom. That is a quick, down and dirty way to use those Google collections, and we are happy to support if you have questions. My other favorite tool to share for communications is Pear Deck. I've been using Pear Deck for quite some time. I started using it in about 2017. I love that it can be used for a pulse check, for SEL, for sharing student answers, for publishing student takeaways, and student feedback. These are phenomenal uses of Pear Deck. It's fantastic. My students loved it. I used it in the library for teaching digital citizenship. Pear Deck has seamless integration with your Google Slides, and you will not have to recreate the wheel. You can add Pear Deck functionality to any existing Google slide deck. They also have pre-made templates that you can make to ask questions on the fly. There is high engagement. Again, those ready-made templates will make your life simple. These are some examples of what a Pear Deck slide would look like. There's a few examples. I like, what do you wonder about today's topic? Students will be able to type their response. If you're doing a pulse check and see how your kids are feeling that day to know what they need, you can do a drag and drop. You can do this to check your understanding as well. It's a great way to figure out where your students are with their lesson right in the middle of your lesson. You can ask your kids, do they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts out loud right now, right? That's the best way to know. Again, check how they're feeling. They can reflect on today's activities. What did they like? What did they not like? What was easy? What was hard? It gives you a quick idea of what you need to possibly reteach. We know this year that our students are going through so very much. For some of them, it's the first time they're back in school in 18 months, and we need to check their stress levels. They may not be in a space where they are ready to share, discuss, and we need to get them ready for that. There is not a tile on the portal for this, I don't believe there will be. It is a free add-on for Google Slides. So you go to your add-ons to add this. With your teacher dashboard, you can easily see what your students are answering. This is just an example that I found out there. They could be typing, they could be writing, they could be drawing, but you can see at a glance how your students are responding to their prompts. So this is what it looks like. You can also give feedback to your students, right? You type your feedback, the student gets a notification that says they have feedback. They can then view their feedback. Great, quick, easy, private communications with your students. I'm going to go ahead and take you live into Pear Deck so that you can see a little bit what it looks like. All right, you can see that I have my Pear Deck add-on to the right. And it's live and ready to go. When your students get to Pear Deck and you're presenting, I click Start Lesson, it's going to give them a code just like this. Okay, go ahead and present. It's going to give them code just like this. They go to joinpd.com, put that code in, and you will see your students join. Some of the kinds of questions, you're going to get things like, you could say, share your favorite book and how does this book make you feel? And students can then write their response to you. You can then use your teacher dashboard to show some of those answers live, and you can do it anonymously so students don't know who said what. Again, that SEL component, how do you want to feel in this class, right? Asking students how they want to feel when they're in your class. It's so important. Easy for our littles, or even for your older students, a quick, easy, down and dirty. Drag your dot to indicate whether you agree or disagree with a concept or something that you've just discussed. It's a wonderful addition. And then you can ask your students if they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts out loud right now. If they don't, you know, those are not the comments to highlight. We don't want to make our students feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to add this to your slide deck. So I have a Google slide here, making your slides easy and interactive. It's easy to click. Do you like to read? I want this to be draggable, so I'm going to click on the draggable. It's going to come up and add a banner to the bottom of my slide. I can choose my draggable item. Let's say I want a thumbs down for no, and I want a green thumbs up for yes. And I simply update my slide. It's as simple as that. When I start the lesson, it will give the students, and I'm not giving you a code to join, I just want to show you what it looks like. I can choose to do a student-paced activity or an instructor-paced activity. So you can use this for communications in a variety of ways, but if I click instructor-paced activity, students will then get a code to join, and it's as simple as that. I loved using Pear Deck for communications when I was in the media center, and I use it now for my Google presentations that I do. I use it in all of my PD that I do. That makes it way more interactive. And I'm going to turn it right back over to Leigh.
Hey guys. Well, before we go on, I would love to show you some of our participants. So we've got working in that Flipgrid. Just so easy. You just click the add button, and here we are introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Emma Rainey. I'm a teacher at Grove Elementary, and I am super excited to be here.
And we're super excited to have you. So thank you for participating. And we're moving on to the next part. So Scratch and Scratch Junior. Some of you might have heard of this, some new. And this is all block coding. So computer science is needed and growing in the field. And if students are exposed early on, it assists them when they take the CTE courses and their future careers. Did you know that these computer science degrees, if you had the certification when you left high school, they could easily be making like 60 to 80,000. Crazy, right? So block coding programs are created by MIT, and actually Brainpop included them, and it's called creative coding. So if you have students who are about third grade or higher, they could go into Brainpop and utilize that already inside the platform. Because Palm Beach County, we have the Brainpop icon, so you can get those in there. So ways that you can use it. All right. So again, that SEL big component, classroom opener, science, explain the connections, social studies and math, creating a map of a familiar location. And I'm going to show you an example of this at the end, where students get their sprite also known as the character, to move to a specific location using those cardinal directions. ELA, design for middle and high school, is finishing a book ending. Engineering and design, a problem and solution. Math, writing a problem for others to solve, or steps on how to solve that problem. Real world connections to content is another big one. So I'm going to show you really what that platform looks like. So this is Scratch, and Scratch, again, can either be found in Brainpop, or you can go to scratch.com. They create a profile. This is the project page. If you really wanted to see the insides, you can click right here. You can see this is the code for this project. Now, this is my SEL. What did I do this weekend? You can see through this blue tile, which over here shows motion. You can add these block codings, and once they link up, it tells the sprite, aka the character, where to go on the screen. This is an X and Y axis, the coordinate plane. So it's allowing them to get that math exposure that they're not used to. A lot of us teachers are afraid to use this, but let's be real. Most of the students are so well versed with the computer skills, they pick this up in no time. This is where, again, it's a quick method like, hey, welcome, good job, welcome to this morning, guys. Before we move on to the next topic, the next 5 minutes, I want you to open up Scratch and tell me what you did this weekend. So this is where they can be creative and they can get their personalities out, and they can also tell you what they did, because you know they're dying to tell you everything they did this past weekend. So again, you can see here, it says when the flag is clicked, that starts my project. I can come up here to the flag.
Hello. This weekend was the best. My mom took my brother and I to the park.
So I can stop it. I have different backdrops. I can change the character. So if I choose the sprite, it gives you a ton of different characters that you can add to your project. In Brainpop, they actually have a lot more. Then you can see in the stage and the background, if I want to add a backdrop, there's all these different ones. But the best part about it is that they can edit them while they're in them. They can add to the pictures. Scratch Junior can be used on a Chromebook and also on iPads with the app. Really excelling and really enticing to those little babies that they actually get to see. They can make their backdrop actually grid paper, so they can count the squares for their sprite to move. So adding in that math, counting from 1 to 20. Again, multiple codes. You can share it. You can see projects. When you go to, oops, let me go here. Changes, yes. Here are all the projects that I have. I can add it to a folder, which I could be shared to certain projects. Does it only work on the Chromebook? Scratch and Scratch Junior can do on the Chromebooks. It can work on iPad for Scratch Junior. Okay. Yes, the color is indicated. So if I'm going to hit create, good questions, guys. I'm going to go into create for you, and that way you can see it being built right now. So the event would be like, okay, when I hit the flag to green to go, I would do that. Well, what do I want my do? And this is the sprite, the cat, the Scratch cat that always appears. You can change it or you can leave it. So I want them to move 10 steps to the right. So when I play that, watch my sprite. Barely any movement. So it's kind of critical thinking for students. Like, well, that's not where I wanted him to go. So maybe I'm going to drag him over here, and I'm going to change that now. I'm going to challenge myself to say 35 steps, and let's see where he went. So now I can kind of understand where they're going, what they're doing. And again, it's something that could easily challenge them to, again, present their information. This is where you change the title, and you'll see all of your files. Yes, leave. Again, delete it, share the projects. I've created folders where I can actually just share to my class. I can actually create instruction. So if you look at this one, coming from a middle school math background, this is where the teacher can put up a question, and their coding can actually have the diver go across the screen. So they can present this, but it actually be interactive for the students, and they get a visual on how that diver is going down into the depths of the ocean would be negative numbers. So totally creative there, and hopefully we'll be able to see those happening and use that. So like I said earlier, those social studies students, if you can see here, here's kindergartners. Kindergartners are on the iPads using Scratch, and you're wondering, how did they do that? Well, if you see his background over here on this first image is a little like he drew it. He did. their social studies standard was to draw a familiar location. So he drew his neighborhood. So he actually used the iPad, or you can use your Chromebook, to take a picture of your map. Now he created the sprite to go from the house to the school, and he wrote on an index card what they would have to do. Like, I would have to go north 4 spaces. I would have to move east 6 spaces. So when that's happening, he took the card and he gave the iPad to another student and he said, I need you to tell me how you got my sprite to go from here to the school. So now it's challenging each other, but also working together to show that communication piece. How did I do it? How did you do it? And were there any discrepancies? Did we both get the sprite to move? Did we practice those verbal skills? Did we practice our social studies skills? So that's all within one project, and they were begging the teacher for more. Honestly, very engaging. So I hope you will definitely be bringing that into your classrooms, as it is something that's new, but honestly, it's where they can be creative, and that's very, very helpful. All right, Lisa, do you have anything else?
So I wanted to share a way I used Scratch when I was school-based. We used Scratch for a project. I don't have a slide for it, but we used Scratch for a project with the novel Dolly 2.0. And in there, you can see that they use something called a makey, and I had makey's in my library. So the students read the book, they answered a losing the word for it. They had a whole project and activity that went with it. And then they created these little dolls with interactive metal touch points. They then programmed Scratch to say whatever it was like. They created these pull string dolls, right? They programmed in Scratch for when they touched the arm, it would say this. And when you would press the foot, it would say this. So they used Scratch to then do that. They took a real world application, and it was great fun. They loved Scratch, and they loved the individuality of it and their ability to make something do and say what they were trying to do. And that personalization with being able to record their own voices.
That's awesome. So as you guys are getting and thinking of these questions, if you could also share in the chat some ideas that how you would take these technologies that you learned today and incorporate into your classroom, we would love to hear and share out and get some ideas from others. If you do have questions, by all means, please ask them. Lisa and I do have Palm Beach County email addresses. So if you need further trainings, by all means, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.
Leigh, we do have a few minutes. Did you want to show them how to access Scratch inside of Brainpop?
Ooh, would love to. All right, give me 2 seconds.
One thing I do want to say about Brainpop, for those of you who are in Palm Beach County, if you are assigning Brainpops to your students, they have to log into the portal in order to access those. And that is because Brainpop is a paid subscription. So just giving them a link, it's not going to work. It's going to ask them for a code. So the directions you should always get are first, go to the student portal, click the Brainpop tile, and then it will automatically single sign on, and they will be able to get to your assignments there. So it's just our little Moby friend, the robot, and then you'll get in through Clever, and you'll get to coding.
Hi there. And then you'll come on down and you will see this creative coding tile. So like I said, MIT worked with Brainpop. They already have great educator resources. If you've never been on, there's actually projects, and the projects are fantastic because they do give little tutorials with inside those, and we'll take a look at those. As you can see, these are based on Scratch. There's others that are made with a vid code, very, very similar to the block coding. So it is the same concept. So a lot of them will be doing the stories. So if I click on this, you can get some examples, start coding. So you can see, show me how to make sprites talk, show me how to build wait time in between the sprites. So this is great tutorials for newbies, students that are never been exposed to it. You can even, it does take you in, we like to say small chunks, digestible bites. So if I do something here and I can add, oops, it's going a little slow today. Adding blocks, let's see if it works for me. I got to add my sprite. Oh, I can add Sarah Osborne or Sarah Good. She looks wonderful. So then I see that there are only 4 coding blocks, not a lot, but I can add more. The more comfortable I get, the more comfortable I can be adding to it. So Brainpop, the way they designed it, wants you to start small, understand what those few blocks do. The major difference between the Brainpop coding with Scratch compared to Scratch here is Scratch has them broken down based off categories of operations, controls. You can even add text to speech. Here, it's more just understand the four before adding more blocks. They are not categorized by any means. So again, it's the same backdrops that you can add. You can draw, paint a backdrop, choose a backdrop. Again, more creative. Sounds, you can actually record their own voices on here. The other one I had, splash, going in a pool. I literally, splash. I recorded it myself. I could actually use my voice to talk through my story. All of those are possible. It does, you have to hit save at the top right. They can assign it. And again, notice how at the top, since we are in Palm Beach County, we have the portal. I am already signed in. So once it saves to all of my project page because I'm already signed into it. I don't have to save to assign somewhere. So a little bit of different.
I love the curricular connections with the Brainpop coding. I mean, if you're studying the Salem witch trials in your social studies standards, and then you come over here and you bring those Salem witch trials to life, I think that's really amazing. I
think it's pretty awesome. And I love that Debbie said we used Flipgrid last year to record second grade animal research projects. Love to hear that you're doing that. If you go back, my projects, you can see here with my projects, I can search within them if I forget what it's called. Let's go. Let's go. Yep. I'm not going to save it. It's probably not happy with me. If I go back to creative coding, again, you can see that there's educator resources. When I open up that, I can get, again, not only videos for myself to understand it, but lessons of getting started. And here goes VidCode tutorials, coding PD if you wanted to push it out into your school, more than one classroom, planning and implementation. You have standards related to it. Within here, like I said, there are museums. How could we make a digital exhibit where items tell a story? So there's all these different programs within the creative coding. Oh, he has an idea and he's going to show us
digital museum coding.
So it gives you, again, more tricks to the trade. Some of these are set up. So you can see this one has the sprites already there or characters, while others let you be more creative, but you can still add them. So many tools to be going back to that classroom and hopefully be engaging your students a little bit more. Remember, more they do coding now, the easier it's going to be when they hit future careers or even those CTE courses in middle school. So any questions? Anyone do a quick response? Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Leigh and Lisa. It's great to communicate here with you today, and I appreciate you. I'm going to take over here for a second and talk about the rest of our day. So we do have 3 more sessions upcoming. Session B will begin at 11, Session C at 12:45. Session D at 1:45, and then our closing keynote at 2:45. Obviously, I'm going to do a shameless plug for staying with us at the Makerspace. There are lots of awesome sessions out there. So I know that it's hard to choose, but upcoming Session B, we have our virtual Makerspace experience, and we're going to be talking about collaboration. So we hope to see you there. On behalf of everybody on the EdTech team, we are so glad you came and spent your day with us today at our virtual conference, and we're super excited to have you here with us. I'm going to bring Leigh and Lisa back up to the screen so they can say their final goodbyes, and I'm going to let you ladies close it out. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you guys for attending. We appreciate you being here. By all means, if you're in Palm Beach County and need more assistance in getting these technologies into your classroom, by all means, reach out. I'm more than happy to help.
We would love to help. We're here.
Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the day.
Enjoy.